Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special tank tour. Tanks tour, plural, basement, massive basement full of tanks from Mr. Dong Zou in America. So welcome, Dong, and thank you so much for doing this for us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Take it away.
Okay, so a little bit introduction of myself. So I have a PhD in chemistry, and I work for multiple pharmaceutical companies. And right now that I no longer work on a pharmaceutical company, I'm retired from that. So I always had the fascination of all the reef animal and corals. So I started doing reef keeping since 2004. That's like 21 years ago. Right now that I'm running my basement, a little coral farm all by myself. It's called Acro Garden. So basically right now that that's my full-time job and taking care of all the coral collection, which I start collecting since like over 20 years of coral collection. That's why I have a lot of old school corals, and many coral actually have some story behind it. Then during a tank tour, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the stories. Right now that this is my what I'm doing right now, then I'm really enjoying it. My wife probably is less thrilled about it because I'm really tied down to the basement. Okay, so that's just a little bit of introduction for myself. So just go ahead and you want to do the tour right now or start it?
Let's.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yep, let me turn the camera around.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, for my airflow. So my neon green airflow, and that is really nice. For matter of fact, I think that this is the only one that I know in existence. It came into me as a tiny frag many years ago. I don't see them on sale anywhere, just except me. So
Gorgeous.
Pardon?
I thought it's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, I
And
haven't seen one here.
you also heal yourself really quick. So normally I take a cut of it, make a frag, and then after 1 week, I cannot even find where my cut from.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Nice.
so and right now it's really a gangbuster, growing really fast.
And you were saying the more yellow tint on that is an indicator for you.
Calcium.
Oh yeah, it's an indicator for calcium because that green fluorescent protein, they actually use as a calcium channel indicator. That means that when you bind to calcium, the green fluorescent protein just light up.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So when the calcium level become really low, and then you lost its shining green. So same thing happened to that neon green cap. And actually that cap is from Steve Tyree from many years ago with the pesky sponge on it. So I'm going to yank the sponge out. That's my neon red Monty cap, just serve as a background here. And there's a Miyagi tour here, and my phone doesn't pick him up very well. But yeah, it's another very fast-growing coral. And then comes to my beautiful Oregon torque. The actual color is a lot brighter than on the screen. For some reason that the screen does not pick up the shining blue color. Yeah, that blue color actually is a good indicator for fluoride and potassium. So when potassium level drops significantly or the fluoride is lacking, and then the blue is no longer that shiny, it turns into maybe like a bluish gray, much darker. So that is a good indicator. And that red one, I got it as a PC rainbow, as a baby. So PC rainbow stands is a pretty popular coral in US. It stands for Pro Coral Rainbow. Pro Coral is, I think that is a vendor that used to be around for over maybe like 10 years ago. I don't see they exist anymore. So they have this Pro Coral Rainbow. And that thing is it grows like a gangbuster. I will show you later on how many I have them. They just grow like a pest.
I've got so many of them, but it's my best-selling coral, so I'm quite happy about it.
Oh, good. And so that is a little blue tip coral. It's quite interesting. And either it's lime in the sky or something. I have many of them laying around everywhere. Now we go to this. This is a colony they call the Voodoo Magic, ORA Voodoo Magic from long time ago. And well, right now you know that one coral has so many names, and one name has associated with so many corals, and people keep renaming it. So you got lots of other funky names. I still go with its original name. So it's also a really fast-growing coral and has a very nice polyp extensions. Even though it's not a millipora, and that's my favorite. So this coral, the growth rate is really amazing. So 1 year ago, and this guy was a 1-inch frag.
What?
Oh.
Yep. And not only that, I cut half of it out already.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, in 1 year from 1-inch frag growing to this monster. So right now it's probably about 10 inch across. Something like that. I have to keep trimming it.
Man inches.
It's well named.
Yeah.
Voodoo Magic.
Yeah.
Dong here.
Yeah, Voodoo Magic. And this is old school, what they call it is the Shades of Fall. It's from Atlantis Aquarium, which is another vendor that's no longer exists. So it looks like strawberry shortcake and pink and green and that kind of thing. And now, and you can see this big colony of greenish, tealish colony. That is actually it has a name called the white rose from many, many years ago. And that also grow like a gangbuster. And I'm going to show you some in another tank. It's humongously fast growing coral. But yeah, it sells very good. And right now this staghorn is the worldwide corals yellow tip. So you can see the blue highlight with the yellow tip on it.
That is so similar to Joker, I call it. It's almost identical.
The Joker has more dense structure.
Yeah, thicker.
Well, it depends on there's so many coral named Joker.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of this is an interesting tenuis. It's Acropora tenuis. In person is bright purple. Somehow in here it doesn't show as purple as it is. It's Acropora tenuis, and now it has a new name. And that also a old school coral. They grow like gangbuster too.
Very
and now
good
here comes
extension.
Oh yeah, and look at this guy. I call this guy the poor man's purple monster. It's not a purple monster, but it looks like one.
It does.
So yeah, right. It's deep purple, and it has a Christmas tree growing pattern on it. But this thing is not a purple monster, and also it grows like 3 to 4 times faster than purple monster. Oh, here my clownfish. And see the
base of
trio?
those corals, Don. Sorry.
Huh?
What's that growing on?
That's what I was going to ask.
Okay. That is a tropic thunder Monty.
Oh, wow. I thought it was...
Again. What is that?
Yeah. So the way I do it is that you can see right here, you see all the Monty cap at the base.
Yep.
I basically drill the Monty cap with surgical scissors and then tuck the Acropora on top of Monty cap. For example, like this Tropic Thunder Monty, which grow like, too much. So I just drill holes on them and put coral Acropora on top.
So there's a plug, is there, that goes through the hole? They're unplugged?
Yeah. They're not unplugged. They're on sticks.
Sticks, okay.
Yeah. So old coral skeleton, I use my frag saw to cut a little stick and grew at the back of the bottom of the coral and just tuck it in.
Genius.
So the good thing is, all these coral can be removed independently. They never grew down.
Right.
Yeah, they just sit there because I need to take them out to frag, and then I put them back.
when we were talking earlier in the background, I noticed one of the corals just slightly wobbling around, and I thought,
yes.
so that's
Yeah,
intentional. Wow.
Just for me, easier for me to take them out, to frag them, to dip them, and to sell them, because I do sell from this tank, and sometimes a customer walk in, they want some instant gratification. They don't want to wait a year. They just want a big colony. So I said, well, if you open your wallet, the price is right, everything goes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is where's the other two? Yeah, that is one clownfish, and that is the other two. This is actually a trio, and the clown, they all come from one cluster of eggs. They are all brothers sisters.
Are all related, right?
Yeah, they're related. They grow up together, so they form a trio. One male, one female, and one
three-way. Unusual.
Actually, one is male, one female, and one asexual.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty common in the ocean because there's not enough anemone for clownfish, but there's so many clownfish, so they develop a trio. That means that if the male die and the asexual one will kick in as a male, that kind of thing.
Yeah, sitting there waiting for a death, basically.
Oh yes, it's waiting. Yeah.
Amen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's my Romance purple monster in person is really bright purple. And then there's a lot more other coral there, and that is a rose melee. For some reason, the phone doesn't show the rose color, but in person is pink. And that bright coral, it's pretty nice. And that coral.
You can send me photos, Dong, and I can drop them in here and there whenever you want.
Oh yeah, I can send you photos and give the. But I think the video probably fine at this moment. So I'll send you some photo later on. That coral they call the grape juice. In person, and that coral is bright, shining green. You can see it away from the room, far away. And it's also a very old school coral. And that's our old school green slimer. The reason it's sticking here because that some people said if you don't have a green slimer, it's not a reef tank. It's such a common piece that you got to have one. So for matter of fact, I just tucked it in not long ago because every time I put a green slimer here, it got sold.
I think it's moving slightly.
Yeah. You can see it. Yeah.
It's having a resurgence in the UK right now. People are getting interested in Bali green slimer again.
Yeah. So
I love this idea so much more than Frag Rex. I just think it's brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, thank you. And it is very easy to move them around, take them out, and so I can put it back exactly the same location. So that's a rainbow mealy, and actually has pretty good polyp extension, but the color is just way off on the phone because I need to use a filter to cut out the blue tint. Otherwise, the whole thing is all haywire in terms of color. Oh, that is for the Superman Digi. If you can see it, it actually in person, the background is blue. So blue with a red polyp. So right now that on the screen, it looks like orange polyp, but in person it's bright red. That's why you call the Superman Digi. I have it for like 20 years. That's a very fast grower. For matter of fact, this colony I put in there not long ago because the previous colony got sold.
I think probably the easiest way to fix the fact that the phone's not giving us the proper idea of colour is that we'll just all book a flight and we'll just pop over.
We'll pop in,
Come pick me up on the chopper.
And you, I think you can use software to adjust the coloration.
Yeah,
and to make it become more. I sent you some photo of it to show its color.
That's perfect.
And now come here. This guy actually is Rainbow Monty from many years ago, and that Rainbow Monty, you can see the rainbow color.
That's very pretty.
Yeah. And that also a good indicator for what? For trace element. So I'm not a big doser for trace element, but since I use tap water, my tap water has tons of trace element in it. It's pretty well, so that's why I don't have to dose. But
It's
right
like
now,
free trace, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, free trace.
Dom's
So
just got it nailed where he lives. He lives
I was
in a
gonna say,
beautiful location. He's got magical tap water.
yeah, magical tap water. But I right now experimenting on a little bit of trace element editing, the adding. So I supplement a little bit. And this actually, if I don't change water for a long time, which I no longer make that mistake anymore, and then the red or orange polyp will turn green. So if the trace is right, and actually it's not, I shouldn't say
Do you know
right.
what trace
trace
it is or not?
I think it's
specific
mostly iron and manganese. Mostly is
Right.
that. So it is a very good indicator because that when the iron and manganese in check, it show the rainbow color. That's a good one as indicator. And then you can see that the purple one behind the green is the old school purple pillow, the very old school one. And then my hawking, my fish, I just found out my fish start eating my hawking inquinata at the back, so you can see some bare spots. So, hey, I have this fox face and given to me, and right now the fox face is starting to nip at my coral. So well, but
I was just
the growth
thinking how well behaved the fish were because they weren't all swimming in front of the camera. Like normally, if you get up to the thing, they think, "Oh, food, we're going to swim in front of the camera," but they're all behaving.
Dong's actually got a handgun pointed at them.
Oh yeah, there's a gimbal.
Got a cattle prod on the other end.
Yeah, you can see those people. Yeah, that they're relaxing over there.
Chilling.
Yeah, and what you can see here is a big colony of what do you call that thing? They're the firecracker table, that kind of thing.
The one in the center, you mean?
Yeah, those big pink one. They're very interesting shape. That is a blue slimer and grow like nuts, insanely fast. And that, okay, this one was an ORA pearlberry. Unbelievable.
What?
But I don't believe it is. But the thing is that but the lineage of it is straight from ORA many years ago. So I think they just sent me a wrong one. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's not the pearlberry, I know.
No, that's not the pearlberry at all. But then, well, since I still have the receipt, right?
6 months later.
What do you sell it as? You sell it as a pearlberry?
No, I actually don't sell them at all.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and that thing is really not a fast grower. So I sell them Frag and nobody interested in it. But but it serves a really nice table. The shape of it is pretty nice. But right now, this guy is probably the greenest green, and that is the ORA frog skin. And that thing, the growth speed is insane. So this colony was 3-inch frag less than a year ago. Yeah, that's how fast it grows. Oh, by the way, that this system consumes about 5 to 6 DKH a day.
What?
Yeah. Yes. 5 to 6 DKH a day for alkalinity.
What's the volume of that tank, Don?
This system is approximately about 600 gallons.
Oh, okay.
Later on I'm going to show you the calcium reactor, how crazy it is. So my 24K laptop, which is not very 24K right now in the camera, and that is an interesting coral. It's called the Season's Greeting from Tyree. That's another Monty I have many years ago. It has a bright red polyp in person under a bright green background. Yeah, that is a Monty I have for many years.
And now come to background is a coral there. That and all that color.
That's all. What you call is the Mystic Sunset Monty.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, well, you see the interesting shape around this edge because I knocked off a big piece when I'm cleaning the tank, probably about 2 weeks ago. Right now, well, you all grow back. It's that fast they grow. And this frog skin is the brightest green you can ever see. So you can pick it up from far, far away. And now comes this guy. This is not a green slimer. I can walk around on the other side and a closer. You can see that you got a nice pink tip.
Yeah.
You got nice polyp extension. Yes, actually, is something looks like what looks like Millipora, but it's not really a Millipora. It's closer to what do you call this? A specialata. But it has a bright green body, a nice pink tip, and good polyp extension. So some of the people keep saying, "Oh, that's a green slimer." No, this is not a green slimer. That is a green slimer, and this is not a green slimer.
Well, that is
So
interesting because I think I'm selling that as green
uh-huh.
slimer.
Oh, you're selling that as a green slimer?
Yep. I'm
with the
almost,
pink tip?
Yeah, with that interesting pink tip. Yes.
Mm.
Oh, wow. With all the polyps? And so what do you sell this guy at? Yes.
I don't have that one, but I'm an idiot, Dong, so don't listen to me. But that...
So that is the body green slimer.
It doesn't surprise me that people in the UK have got it wrong.
Yeah, because I've got that in my tank
Chris
as well.
Mackley identified as Acropora aberdeenis, whatever. I cannot pronounce the name. So it's not a green slimer. That's straight from Chris Mackley's post. This is not a green slimer, and that's it. It's not a green slimer.
He called it arborensis.
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's Australian.
So I got him so many years ago. So that probably I have it for maybe like at least 15 years. So I don't see this very often, but everything, all the frag is plus this big colony and plus the other big colony all come from the original frag I got. That is a nice mealy, and that is the ultimate sunset mealy. So in person, it's a little bit more yellow than it is. It has a nice polyp.
Yes.
You can always see the flowing polyp. Yep. And now comes to this guy. So the pink bird's nest. Back many years ago, the pink bird's nest is diamond a dozen. But right now, try to find a hot pink bird's nest. Actually, quite difficult.
Yes.
Yeah, and now this is a Tyrese rainbow stylo, and that is really a beautiful piece.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, and I got it from my friend as a frag many, many years ago. And then it grew into a colony about 12 to 14 inch big. And then I start selling it. It's one of my best seller coral. That's why the mother colony right now is only about 8 to 9 inch big. I keep cutting it, and then you keep growing back. See that?
I can say, you can see, you've been chopping it.
Yeah, you see the chopping point?
Mm.
Yeah, right there. I keep chopping it. I keep it small. But then all the frag just fly out like hotcake.
Is it as quick to grow as the kind of standard milka?
No, it's not a milka stylo.
No, is it as quick to grow as the milka stylo?
No, I will show you the milka stylo later on. Milka stylo is insane. That is not gross. That's like a balloon. That's expanding. Yeah, and yeah, that's a nice coral. Actually, I got this one from Keys, from a frag show. And this and that is the Jake Adams Manila Spy. I think I got 2 frags from Keys Reefum, and now I have so many big colonies everywhere. It's a very good grower, but it's a beautiful, beautiful red. And also that make me to remember our dear friend that passed away, Jake Adams.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, there's a plenty of. Oh, by the way, that is the ORA neon green bird's nest I acquired many years ago. So this is another classic coral. It's so green. So yes, I like the green egg and ham. It's
That's
so green.
one of my favorite corals is the Acropora. It's so simple, so cheap, but I absolutely love it.
It grows so fast. And you can see there's a big hole there, big empty space, because somebody just bought my almost like 10-inch bird's nest coral. So there's a big space over there.
Just took the whole thing, did they?
Yeah, they took the whole thing. Yep.
Right.
So I do sell coral out of this tank. So when the price is right, everything goes.
Look
That's
at
a business,
tank?
right?
Style.
Huh? Oh yeah, look at the style.
Yeah, it's
Beautiful,
nice,
huh?
isn't it?
Yeah.
What did you call this tank? Your play tank?
My play tank,
your
and
play
also it's SPS show tank too. For some reason that whatever I put in here, they sells really quick.
Right.
Understandable.
Okay. Yeah,
even the placement with when you're using the color wheel, like you're just showing off every color so well.
Yeah, the color wheel is the one that I. Oh, by the way, that's Tyree's $500 Aplo. Yeah, this is a guy. That also one of my oldest coral. It has a shiny purple neon green tip on it, and that thing also one of my oldest coral. I have so many frags and other colony available. The rest of them are just fillers. And by the way, and this is one of the frag tank. It's a 4x4 frag tank, and I pick up from an old friend of mine. He just brought over here because he doesn't want it anymore. And that acrylic frag tank was sitting in his shed or something like that for years. And that happened like 15 years ago. And he asked me, "Do you want it?" Sure, I want it. So it turned into something like that. And by the way, actually in terms of lighting, and that is Rebreeder's Meridian light on this show tank. That's the latest generation. And then this frag tank is the tank that I actually grow coral at. Look at that, ATI T5. ATI T5. There's several reasons I want to use them. First of all, I really appreciate the elegance in terms of design of ATI. And also the parts are available inexpensively, so I can repair my lights over and over again. This two fixture is approximately 20 years old.
Yeah.
I keep fixing
that's
it.
Hanging off a shelf bracket.
Oh yeah, you're handing out of a do-it-yourself kind of thing.
Nice.
So yeah, because I don't look at this bracket much.
That's very true.
I just look in the tank. Okay.
Just out of interest, Don, how does that?
Yeah.
What's under that tank holding it up? Because
that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. I'm like, I don't see what it's sitting on.
That's outside. It's levitated.
Oh, actually, you mean how these tanks are mounted? Lights are mounted?
No, I had the tank, the frag tank. What's it sitting on?
You're sitting on a table.
Oh, it's a table.
Yeah, it's a table. You're sitting on a table. Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's basically a bunch of frags. Right now, it's all become sort of like mini colony-ish, and under the T5. So there's several reasons. Of course, as an acrylic frag tank, the wall is all scratched up terribly, unbelievably. So that is only good for growing coral. So that's why I'm going to try to shut down the flow so you can see from the top. Okay, how to do the... Okay, all right.
Is that connected to the tank you just showed us?
Oh, yeah, it's connected.
Right.
Yeah. So there is another... You can see all the colonies of rainbow hammer, banana torch, and all sorts of Acropora.
This has got
growing
very
in the tank.
psychedelic. I can't see.
I was going to say, I feel like I'm tripping.
So if I can turn off the back pump, so hold on, then it will make it easier. So let me get the...
That was wild. That was absolutely wild.
So right now, then you can see a little bit better about the coral inside.
Large.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It is.
I mean, you said frag tank, but I don't. They look huge.
What?
Yeah. And look at all the torch, and look at all the hammer.
Hold
And
on. Is that one colony, Dong?
yeah, that's one colony.
Oh.
And that colony probably about 1 feet by 1 feet, something like that.
And how long has that taken to grow? Or did you get it in as a big piece? How long did that take to grow to that size, or did you get it in as a big piece?
Okay, no. I got that. This colony is grown from a small colony, approximately like 3 to 4 heads. That's before COVID. That's 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for the torch.
So you don't frag it then? You don't?
No, because I do frag it. Because I frag it several times, I end up with so many other colony there. I'm frag from the other colony.
Right.
Yeah, when you look at all this rainbow hammer, I got all these rainbow hammer are going from 1 or 2 heads, and I probably have over 1,000 heads of rainbow hammer right now.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, so you can see that many of the acros and that in this tank, and right now, this is what my calcium reactor drip.
That's just a full flow.
Oh yeah. Let me show you what the carbon dioxide bubble. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
is going at
Yeah,
a crazy rate of knots.
Wow. You must burn through some CO2.
Yeah. So that's this frag tank and the big calcium reactor. The calcium reactor is probably about 20 years old and still live and kicking and still running. So
what pump's that?
Huh?
What pump is that?
You mean this pump?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is a Eheim.
Oh, it is an Eheim. I was going to look like an Eheim.
Yeah, because that I use only 2 types of pumps. For AC pump that directly plug into the wall, I only use Eheim because of reliability.
They're amazing.
And the rest of them are all DC pumps, J-Bolt DC pumps. So here come to my another plate tank.
Ooh,
and
more than one plate tank.
Oh yeah, that's a 200-gallon tank, and this tank is pretty deep. It's like 3 feet front to back. So you can see that. That's the milker. Yeah, that milker is it becomes so large. Yeah, I cannot use the bone cutter to cut it because it won't cut. I had to use a little hammer go in there and to knock off the branches. Yeah, that's the milker, and that is neon green digi, which I have for like 15, 16 years. And I got it from one of the fellow hobbyist tank. And ever since that, you produce so many frags. And this is just one of them. Right now, that is a Phytoplankton, which is kind of interesting because the many Phytoplankton I saw, they are just like pretty dull in color, like greenish brown. But this one, I got as a tiny frag from Unicoro many years ago. And it grow into a also a good seller. So this is one of the colony, and then the other colony I keep fragging from is even bigger than that. But that one is already turned into many frags.
I like that white gill clown. That's really unique markings.
Yes. His name's called Dottie. So Dottie came to me from a friend. I was housing him, boarding him, and but here comes his mate. Dottie right now is my clownfish now because my friend got out of the hobby. And you see that is the graphic cap. Yeah. So alongside with all the other Tyrese and neon green cap, I think Dottie really loved the camera, so that you keep approaching. And that's my Tomini tank. Here we go. Now, you see this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Heliochus butterfly fish. And he has a very interesting backstory about him. So, long time ago, many years ago, far away from the galaxy, there's a friend of mine back then, and then who was building a Nemo tank. he tried to collect all the cast of the Nemo of the movie. Yep. So one thing he cannot get is a Moorish idol.
Poor man's gill.
And then he commissioned one of the local fish store to find him a Moorish idol. And he's pretty well off. He said, I don't care how much it costs. He just want a Moorish idol. I told him that Moorish idol is so difficult to keep. So he asked the fish store saying that, he's looking for a Moorish idol that can live and also eat well. And price is not a problem. So one day he called me up. He said, they delivered me the Moorish idol. I said, really? And he told me that Moorish idol eat everything he put into the tank and looks so healthy. He's so excited. Then I drove over. I want to see this so-called Moorish idol that eat everything. I look at him. I told him this is a Heliochus butterfly fish. By the way, and that fish back then, like almost 15 years ago, is a $25 fish. Oh, where does he go?
Ouch.
It's not the insane price he paid for it. Okay. Then we, of course, where does he go? Oh, by the way, he went back into the
his camera shot.
Yeah. Then we Google it, look at all the photo, and then confirm that thing actually is a butterfly fish. Of course, he gets so mad. And since that tank is a fish-only tank, it's pretty open space, he grabbed a net and catch him and gave it to me. Because he does not want to look at this fish at all. He said every time he look at him, he feel like to be an idiot. Yeah, he feel like he's being robbed. So then that's how I got this Heliochus butterfly fish in this tank.
But if you had never said anything, he would have loved it and just got on with it.
Yeah.
Well, I probably shouldn't say anything, right?
Dreams.
Oh.
Yeah, you crushed him instantly.
Oh. Yeah, that is a colony of the bubblegum digi. And it's brighter in person, of course. And that
bubblegum digi.
Oh, the bubblegum digi, this one has a story. Back several years ago, that's before COVID, a friend of mine brought me some rocks. And because he's getting out of the hobby, he pull in my driveway in his truck, and with a gigantic Rubbermaid top in there, absolutely no water. and this bubblegum digi was sitting on that piece of rock, dry, bone dry. And he said, I assume that you don't care about that bubblegum digi. So whatever. So he didn't put water in it. And that thing was totally bleach and die, but there's a tiny piece of it survived. And now that you grow into a colony like this, plus probably 5 to 6 times more, that the other thing that keeps selling it is a good seller because it's inexpensive. It's our cheaper frags, like $5, $10, that kind of thing. It has beautiful color and that easy, and people love it.
Them corals are just so resilient.
Don't even know. That one.
Yeah, that's another Tyrese Aflo. And right now, this is a big colony of bird's nest, the rainbow bird's nest. It basically is opportunists. What happens is that you start off as a small colony. You basically fill up all the gaps you can find. And right now that he stayed there forever because I cannot even yank him out. He was absolutely locked himself into the reef. And then he dropped a baby too.
Yeah, if I were to describe your tanks in one word, Dong, I would say dense.
Dense, yes.
Really dense, yeah.
Dense.
Yeah.
And that is one old school coral with a yellow tip. And that actually comes from a friend of mine. He got it from the Frag Farmer Market, which is a school in Connecticut that the high school student grow this one. This is an old school. I have no idea. It looks like Locani, but I really no idea what the heck it is. But but it does have a trade name called the fruit punch or something like that. It has a yellow tip. It has a long, skinny coral lights, and then come to this. That is an aflo. or solid or whatever you want to call it. And that guy right now has a nice blue tip, and the body is fluorescently olive green. Well, I have this coral for over 15 years. And in the past 10 years, it was a piece of brown crap. Seriously, the piece of brown turd sitting there. No matter what, it just doesn't gain its color. Until one day, I tuck it in this tank. Then I forget about it. And then it started turning color. Now it's turning into a stunning color. You can see how big the base is all alive. The tissue at the base is all alive. It's a stunning piece of coral and sitting at a really high par because you see that's the rebreather light.
You just sit right. Think it's the light that changed the color on it?
I think so. But here's another thing. This rebreather light, the one at the front, is kind of special. Why is special? Because that it was given to me as a totally dead piece of thing. Thunderstorm fry every single component of that light. Okay, so it's only a shell. Then I sent it to my good friend Logan at Rebreather. So he basically retrofit using spare parts. But now this I don't know. Maybe the part has a different manufacture period of different time because Rebreather light is really robust. So I assume that spare part probably sit there for quite a while, and the manufacturer maybe is different. But then somehow the front, this one is magical. That is the only Rebreather LED can turn this coral into this. I cut this coral and put them under other Rebreathers LED. You turn back into a brown piece of crap. Yes, I put it. When people when people want to buy this, I tell them the story. I tell them that you can potentially turn back into a brown piece of turd every single time. What I say, the prophecy turned true.
Yes.
I even make frag of it and put it in the other tank under the T5, other LED, other Rebreathers LED. It all turned back into the brown piece of crap. Only under this tank, under this light, it has this color. I even take some of the brown piece of crap from other tank under other light back in here and tuck it right next to it. It turned back to that color.
Do you think there's any chance there would be any form of allelopathy going on between the specific corals that are in that system that are then affecting the pigment?
That's a possibility because this tank is really old. So you have so many other coral in there, but on the other hand, the change is very rapid though. So that you turn from brown in if I take another frag, turn brown in another tank under another light, put it back here, basically within several days it turned back to this color. And also all the water are linked together.
It's just crazy.
Whatever he's exposed to in the water, the other coral should expose to at the same time. So the only variable is that Rebreather's LED. I do not know why. So even the Rebreather at the back doesn't do that. They're supposed to be the same model.
So if you swap that light around, then it'll go brown. Is it?
I swapped the light. Actually, I tried all the possibility. I moved one back there. I swapped the light. It's very easy to swap. After I swap it, it started turning brown. So I immediately swap it back. I cannot stand to look at a brown piece of thing. That's a very nice blue coral. And that is not a twerk, and that's not Oregon twerk. In person, is really, really bright blue. And that is come from, I forget where it come from, maybe from unique coral so many years ago. But right now, you sit there pretty happy. And you can see that I have a more green slimer tucking at the back and more the Jake Adams, that Manila Spy tuck at the back. And that actually, you can see there is a real pearl berry at the back, even though I cannot show it very clearly. Right behind that mealy is the true pearl berry, but really hard to see. I hide it back there so that I still can keep it. Otherwise, the people say, "Give me a frag, give me a colony," and then you'd be gone.
Yep.
So you're hiding.
Hiding your corals from your
It's hiding.
customers.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Unique.
have to. Yeah, and that is Satosa and Paleta pink tip, and another what they call it, the Miyagi tour, all that kind of thing. Yeah, so this, and of course that you can see the hole there that I used to put coral in,
Right.
and the coral over there being sold, so that's why I end up with all this hole there. And that is a Jedi's Mantric Monty. It grows in such a weird location, so I cannot frag it easily. So that's why you keep growing. Yeah, that's basically for this tank. And then we come to here. That's actually is a different system. And voila, look at my rainbow hammer. I keep selling them. They keep growing. It's look like a limited supply of them. Yeah, and then this is another frag tank. See more rainbow hammer, more various different corals sitting there. That's my tank to experience to try out different lighting. So that right now at this moment is ATI T5, and very soon that is I'm going to put some radion on it to see how the color change.
Is that a supplement light on the side of it?
Oh yes, that's a rebreather's LED bar.
Okay.
Yeah. So the give it a little bit pop.
And which one of those do you normally go for out of those, the strips? Because they've got a few different color choices, don't they?
So for this one is a high output UV, but some other are blue. So it depends on for SPS. I like to put the UV version of it. And then for LPS, that I like to show the color better, I normally put out the blue color, the ice blue. So you can see that it's hard to see from here, and that's a mummy eye chalice sitting at the back, and also more rainbow hammer. And there's
It looks like you've got some really choppy flow in there, Dong. The surface of your water is
gyros on the back.
Oh, you mean the wave?
Yeah.
The flow?
Yeah.
I really believe in flow. So in this tank, the middle section is approximately like 80 gallons, something like that. So I have 2 J-ball at the back. So these 2 are basically making the wave. So you can see the flow. Yeah, the flow is important. And also another important thing for this tank. This used to be a sump in a fish store. They used to be. So there's a section and there's a baffle here. So all the water will go through these thin strips of glass right here. So the air exchange is happening very effectively over there. So this is not tied into the previous system we see. This is a different system with a lot of flow. And then you drain down to my sump with a skimmer and a calcium reactor. So basically, I keep all the setup very simple. You basically just a calcium reactor plus big skimmer, and that's it. And now,
nature's glue.
Yeah. And this tank is a really shallow tank. That is my feeding tank. That means that I use this tank to try out all different kind of coral food.
Right. So
It seems like
you just
they're
go
pretty
past
happy.
your breakfast bowl there.
Yeah, that is the Holy Grail logo. In person, is bright neon green plus a bunch of orange, purple, red, whatever thing. And he's one of my oldest lobo. And when I got him, he's only about a 3-inch little head, probably even less than that, maybe like 2-inch head. Right now, because that it gets fed so well, That's why. Yeah. You see there's more torch there and more torch there. There is a black light torch, it's purple. And there's some zoensis, and that is the hologram hammer. And that's the trendy thing right now, the hologram hammer.
A bit of fun.
Yeah. And you can see the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy, that hammer. You can actually see almost like rings around each individual head.
Yes. Yep. That's why you call it the hologram hammer.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So so far that's the hottest hammer right now in US that's selling. Unfortunately, it doesn't grow as fast as my rainbow hammer. Otherwise, I will have 2,000 of them. But no, this one doesn't grow that well. And that is called Yellow Submarine or something like that, or maybe it's the Favia of the God. All these names really drives me nuts.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can. Oops, my gimbal is a little bit losing.
Oh, wow. Feel seasick.
Yeah. Okay. So right now, this is another frag tank tied into the three things are tied into the same system and under ATI-T5. And that is, you can see the flow on the tank. Yeah, I really
Like a lot of
frogs.
surface agitation.
Yep. Yeah, lots of surface agitation. And the light is always the ATI-T5 plus the LED bar. Yeah, so one of the reasons I really won't recommend people using acrylic tank because they scratch. And this one is scratched so badly, it's not funny. But as a growing coral, it's perfectly fine.
Holds water.
Yep, it holds water. And also repair it. It leaks. It busts open. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, the sim, but it's also easy to repair. And that's my fracking table. And then lots of coral die on it, the operation table. So that is a tool system over there in a farm. Then we go to the LPS part. And that. Hold on, my gimbal is acting up. Seriously. The gimbal said he gave up. So, okay. Sorry about the. So that is LPS.
Massive Gonny.
Yeah, they're Gonny.
Oh yeah, that is OI's red Gonny. Yeah. Yeah, it got so big because it does not fit through my frag saw anymore. There's no way I can cut it.
Do you think that's bigger than your head, Dong?
Yes, definitely bigger than my head. Yeah, it's pretty big. And
bowling ball.
Yeah, it's more like bowling ball. And also the bowling ball has this original frag plug at the bottom.
So you can't frag that.
I cannot frag that. It doesn't fit through the frag
grow
plug.
out of the tank.
Yes. So you can see that it basically occupies quite a bit of space. That's an anemica stylo. And that's
you can take it out and throw it on the ground, but it'd probably dent the coral, the cement.
Yeah.
So you can see that there's my gimbal. I really should learn how to use this gimbal. So that's Zoensis, Blastos, and Torch. And that's another Acropora. That is my manganese and iron indicator. So if my iron and manganese is low, or I didn't do water change often enough, this guy will shrink. But then this big Garnet doesn't care. The big Garnet, no matter what, is always big and fluffy. But when the iron and manganese level a little bit higher, it turns a darker red. And otherwise, it's lighter pink. But both way, I like the color. Either it's pink or red. Right now it's red right now, and he always looked that fluffy and beautiful.
So you
until
that everything is for sale, Dong. Is that true? Everything's for sale.
Everything for sale, but nobody want this guy because that people really need a big tank to house it.
So how would you? Somebody walked in and said to you, right, I want that.
I'll have that.
I want that. How do you
okay
come up with a price on the spot?
No, I have a price structure. So I price the coral depends on how difficult to get and how fast they grow. Because that I do not get in wholesale coral for years. So everything is aquaculture growing in my tank. So the price is nothing to do with the import price.
You should do that by weight.
Yeah. Huh?
Do that by weight.
Yeah.
£1,000 an ounce.
You'd be doing it by what car they drive in.
Oh no.
No.
Normally I don't see what car they're driving. Because that most of the cells are local, so that means that my gimbal really terrible. I don't know what happened to it. So because that most of the cells are local and people are coming back, so all the price are pretty. I'm very reasonable. Actually, the here probably the lowest price they can find in the store anywhere by a big margin. So
coral certainly are the cheapest around.
Yeah, so
giving them away.
No, I don't give away coral unless I know the person. Because
Ron does. Ron does all the time to people in the Discord. He keeps smacking them on the hand.
Now here's an interesting thing. If you list the coral for free, there will be a lot of people asking you for it, and none of them show up.
That's true.
That's the Yep.
Need to make it worth something. Yeah.
Yeah, if you give them away for free, it doesn't work. It's just a waste of time. But if you give it to your friends, you know the person, that definitely no problem at all. So here is a top-down tank. This tank is meant to be looked from above with all these colonies sitting there, and actually it's pretty difficult to look from above because all the wave. Let me kill the flow, and then we come back to that.
Is this a separate system, or is this tied into
this is a separate system.
Right. Okay.
So are you open nearly every day of the week, or you only open on weekends, or how does that work in your basement?
I open every day.
Okay.
7 days a week?
Yeah, 7 days a week. Otherwise, then why not, right? Yeah, and this is
it by appointment done, or do you just do walk-ins, or do they have to book?
No, I don't do walk-in. It's appointment only.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so that I can manage my driveway. My driveway is not that big, so the maximum only can accommodate about 2 cars.
Right. Okay.
Let's see.
We could land a plane in your back garden.
Actually, we have an airport nearby, so you can land it over there. So, that is just a top view tank. And you see the Pactinia.
Wow.
And this is a yellow poritis. More rainbow hammer. And Duncan's. The purple sponge. The one thing about the T5 is that it's really difficult to take photo or short video under the T5.
It's almost
from the
impossible.
refraction.
Yeah,
almost impossible. But you get the idea about what's in here. Oh, those are the neon green letter. Is the greenest green letter? They're really green.
Very nice.
And they called the screaming green tree from many years ago. It's really difficult to see from this tank, but you get the idea about it's a top view tank. And it used to be a home for my giant dory. I used to have a dory so big. Then he lived here, and even the Girl Scout would come over to look at the dory. The dory lived for 17 years and passed away on a Christmas Eve.
Oh.
But before I have him for 17 years, he was a full-grown dory. full-grown hippo tank. Yeah, so he lived in this tank with me for 17 years, and I have him. Yeah, have him quite a while.
That's
then
nice.
moved
You had
him
a nice
from
home.
Yeah.
What was the
Yeah,
dimensions
yeah.
of that tank?
Oh, it's only 4x4.
Okay.
It's 4 feet by 4 feet, and and well, a friend of mine built this tank in the basement. So we cut the glass. Actually, he cut the glass, and we carry each panel down and glue it together. And I let it sit for like several months before I fill it with water. That is such a long time ago. And my friend told me that he will never build a tank with me again, because that after he built this tank, he frequently having nightmare that I call him up, said it leaks. Yeah, he said too much mental trauma that he keep dreaming about
It's
that.
not worth
So yeah, no more. He's not gonna build another tank for me. So this is actually this is reverse refugium sort of thing with the potent skimmer in the back, but you know that refugium turned into a frag tank.
Right.
Because I don't use macroalgae anymore.
It's easy done. It's easy done.
Oh, yeah. Look at this hammer growing in a refugium.
Is that a max spec razor light above that, Dong?
Oh, yes. And this guy is a first generation mass spec razor.
I loved mine.
Generation.
I loved mine.
I used to have 6 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have quite a few of them, and I salvaged the LED puck sometimes that get burned out. So I have repaired this by coral wheel at least one time, and then salvage other LED puck to keep it running. So there's one of the oldest LED light. It's still kicking pretty good. So no complaint for that. And you can see that there's a 2 big T5. One is 8 tube T5 at the front and a 6 tube T5 at the back. So that is how much light and this tank is getting. It used to have metal halide on top, but I get away from metal halide for a while now, because that is definitely a fire hazard.
Yes.
So, and basically that's all the system. And then the last one is the one at the back, is the nursery. So you can see the wave, the water movement, and also how crappy the aquatic is.
Yeah,
so,
that all bowed.
But you hold it for all this year. I keep repairing it. So
Dong,
it still works.
you've got balls of steel having that in your basement.
Because I have concrete at the bottom. Ooh. And the basement is a walkout basement. So and also have a shop vac, a big one, and suck up water all the time. Yeah, so that is a nursery. Basically, after I went a frag coral, and all the bits and pieces, I just grew them and tossed in this tank. They live good, they die okay, but apparently most of them live pretty well. You see all these colonies, all this PC rainbow.
Is that all Montipora in the bottom of that tank?
Is that growing up the side?
Those are those are the leptos. They're growing on the Actually, I think that those is the lepto holding the tank together.
Yes, using it as glue.
Yeah. So basically, this is the nursery, and I toss frag in there, and sometimes I look into it. I said, "Wow, I don't even know I have that." So normally that I try to avoid selling things from this tank, because I frequently find some treasure in there. And some people also find treasure in there too. Oh, look at that! What is that? I don't even realize I have that. How much is it? Not for sale. So that's basically it for the 3 system I have. So any questions? I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Yeah. So can you tell us what salt you're using, why you're using it?
Oh, okay. So this system you're looking at, and my gimbal is absolutely dead. So so this system is basically all reef crystals. That also the largest system in here. So there's there are 4 tanks linked together. Yes, reef crystal, and that system is Tropic Marine Pro.
Okay.
Yep, and that system is whatever. It's a mix.
Have you got? I didn't see like a mixing station for salt or anywhere. Have you, have you
The
got?
so is that whatever on hand. When I'm mixing, the mixing station has Tropic Marine. I pour Tropic Marine in there. If it's reef crystal, I put reef crystal there. You see the phytoplankton growing at the back. And by the way, those big tanks at the back are live rocks. All the live rocks sitting in there. So
What, in the dark?
Yeah. So basically that's the 2 kind of soil I use. But the Tropic Marine is just temporarily saying I just want to prove a point that the soils are really not much difference, because that they're really not much difference at all.
Well,
only more expensive.
On the street with you on Friday, Rob went down to his shop and has changed his salt.
I did. I went to Instant Ocean.
The Instant Ocean just as good. For here, the price is 50% cheaper. Actually, 100% cheaper. Like $130 versus $66. Yeah, half the price.
Cheaper, yeah, I think reef crystals has got slightly elevated like alk and calcium.
Actually, that is not an issue at all. Not at all.
It makes it slightly more expensive than the Instant Ocean. When I looked.
The reef crystal? Reef crystal is only about $5 more expensive than Instant Ocean here.
Yeah, right.
So the difference is so minimum. I just keep using the reef crystal. Oh, by the way, the purple Instant Ocean is not guaranteed that you will have less alkalinity or calcium. Many times, because every time sometimes I get in the purple bucket, I do test them. I test each box before I use it, or each bucket before I use it. And what I found out is that the purple bucket Instant Ocean, actually the parameter is not constant. Sometimes that is absolutely identical as the reef crystal on every parameter, and sometimes it's like a 900 magnesium.
Wow.
So yeah, that's why I used the reef crystal instead of the purple Instant Ocean.
It's more consistent.
So far, so good. Yeah, more consistent.
Right.
And also the higher alkalinity and alk, that means that I don't need to dose as much. And
what levels are you keeping your elk mag, like your basics at?
Okay, so my alkalinity actually around 8 to 9. And calcium from 400 to 425-ish, and magnesium around 1300 to 1400 ppm. Because the test kit we have are pretty rough, so that's just a range.
Yeah.
I don't care too much about the fluctuation alkalinity, because that scientifically speaking is not a big deal, as long as it's in range, like from 7 to 11. Yeah, actually, it doesn't even need to be stable. So as long as
tank.
Would you let it drift? Like, what would your drift be? Like 1 DKH a day or something? Or?
So sometimes that you can drift as low as 7.5.
Right.
And then I just bump it back up to 9. One shot. Let me take off the gimbal. Yeah. Wow. Let me take off the gimbal, because another gimbal become a liability now. It's dead. Okay, hold on.
Is it made by J-Bow?
No, it's not. If it made by J-Bow, probably it's better. I can seriously tell you that.
I did pick up some of that reef cell food that you were talking about as well. I did find some here, and I picked some up.
Oh, you mean a reef crystal?
No, the reef. Go back to your table. When you were taking the gimbal off, you had some of the reef cell. What brand is it? The little.
Oh, you mean this guy?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, the New Light Spectrum?
Yes, I found some here in Australia. I've just
Yeah, the
started using
resale.
it.
Yeah. I
After
love
you
it.
said that you said that it was good, so I grabbed some.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And then when you mix them together, and you got a milky kind of suspension, and it has a very fine particle size. And of course, that this is a piece of crap you shouldn't use.
I've never tried it. We haven't got that here in Australia.
Oh, don't use it.
I always wanted to, but when you said that the reef cell was better, I found the reef cell.
The reef cell much better, and also this is a cyano factory.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
If you love cyano, use this. So this is one example of when a manufacturer is keep putting in bacterial extract from a earthworm casing and try to make something miracle out of that. No, it doesn't work that way. So it just causing other troubles. I also use the Reef Roy once a while. The reef cell is my favorite.
And how often are you feeding that a week, Dong? Is it just once or twice, or is it a lot more often?
Right now, it's 1 or twice a week, or whatever I feel like generously toward them. So the once or twice a day, that's pretty much it. So it's simple and easy, and depend on how tired that day I am, or how generous I feel that day to the fish, to the corals, I feed them. But I seriously think that most of the aquaculture coral, basically, the photosynthesis is the primary driving force. Sometimes that I don't feed the tank for 1 or 2 weeks, it makes no difference.
Yeah, I have to admit that I've watched hours and hours, if not days, of content on YouTube about corals and coral
whether to feed or not.
Yes, do you feed or do you not? I mean, my acans look better when I feed them. My Lobo looks better when I feed it. My SPS, I don't see a single bit of difference.
I don't think the SPS can eat many of the food because the particle size is too big, too large. But I think the reef cell probably does get eaten by SPS because of the small size of reef cell.
That's really interesting.
It's like a fine powder then, I guess, isn't it? It must be tiny particle size.
So
and be careful opening that container. It went everywhere.
Oh dear.
Oh yes, because it's so fluffy, and it's anhydrous, so there's no water content in there. The reef cell, according to the label, is purely synthetic. So they get a little tiny algae ball and in the center and start to stuck some of the nutrient on the spore. So because it's totally man-made, so it can be so tiny, the particle size.
So is it
that's why
smaller than reefroids then?
Huh?
Is it smaller than reefroids then, would you say?
Oh, much smaller than reefroid.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Good old
much
they were
smaller.
Pretty small.
Yeah. And actually, definitely that the reef cell is that you have to hold your breast. Open it. Oh my God. Yeah, it's really fine powder. Ugh. You're basically airborne.
So how do you put that in a little cup of water and mix it and then pour it in, or?
Yeah, just get actually I get a cup of water first, and I put the reef cell there, and then stir and pour. Just
tank
simple
water,
as that.
yeah, not ROD.
Yeah, tank water. Well, actually,
clear.
yes, but I think that RODI water works fine in this case. Probably,
tiny amount.
But I do find out one difference is that it seems like the reef cell makes much better in salt water to get a fine consistency. Okay. When I put fresh water in it, it seems like come up quite
clumpy.
Clumpy.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because the salt there, the hydrophobic. That's what I found.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
So, any other questions for Dong, folks?
Just to go back to your water parameters then. You're using a calcium reactor.
Yep.
Basically to do the heavy lifting for your alk, are you?
Yes.
And do you dose? You don't use calc wasser or?
Oh, I do.
I use that as well.
Yeah. My auto top off is calc wasser.
Oh, okay, you mix it in there.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
So every day I probably go through, let's see, about 20 to 30 gallons of calc water just from the evaporation.
What?
Right.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. The reason is that this room in the basement, that you know that the humidity can be a problem. Yeah. That is why I have a fan, exhaust fan in this room running 24/7, 365 days a year.
Yeah, we can see that in the background. That's the other side of that frag tank in this video.
Yeah, so that right now my humidity is 39%.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, the average is around 50 at the humid days, around 40 to 50% humidity in here. So that is why that the evaporation is high.
Do you measure things like pH? Are you concerned with that, or you're not bothered?
No, I don't bother with pH at this moment. I used to measure pH. I used to have controllers, but now I don't use controller because all the controller become a gigantic temperature display and a pH display. So and they're pretty predictable. So there's no reason to look at them anymore. I spot check my pH these days, use a pH pen. But now here's a major issue that caused me not to look at the pH is if I really want to know what exactly the pH of my tank is, I need to use at least $600 to $1,200 pH meter minimum to get an accurate reading. Yeah, actual reading. All the consumer grade pH meter, they're a joke. Then they won't give you any accuracy, but they give you a trend about the fluctuation. That is okay. But if you said is my tank at 7.9 or 8.3, no, they won't really tell you that it's not accurate enough. So as a chemist, there's two important things about the pH meter. One, you buy the good one. It costs a lot of money, so to get a reliable pH reading. Second thing is that before you use it, you calibrate it, and after you use it, you clean it and store it in the pH Pro storage solution. So the pH Pro are not meant to be constantly submerged into liquid because that interfere with the internal standard. That will throw your data off. So that is the thing is that the fluctuation of pH day in and day out throughout the year, there's almost the same. That's why I don't look at it anymore. Since I cannot get the accurate absolute number of my pH at home, so I'm not going to spend that much money to get a pH meter at home. Yeah, so it's not that important. And another thing is that the core looks fine. And the most important thing is alkalinity. The job of alkalinity is to hold the pH in the appropriate range. That is what alkalinity is defined as, is the buffering capacity. So if your alkalinity is in check, your pH is going nowhere. And I have seen people telling me, oh, I've been running high pH. They're very successful. I said, how high pH you're running? So, 8.3 to 8.6. I said, wow, that's pretty high. Can you bring me a sample and bring your pH meter too? Okay. I whip out my half trusty pH meter, which sort of calibrated, and you stick in there. It's not really 8.3, 8.6. It's his pH meter miscalibrated.
Yeah.
It's just like that. So when you try to chase something without the tool to telling you the target number, is really dangerous. It's much better not to just concern about it. And also that when I look at literatures about the pH, so most of the literature I found when they're doing laboratory studies about how the pH affect coral, they basically do not see a significant difference in terms of coral growth when the pH in a natural range, like 7.8 to 8.2. or 7.9, that kind of range. The difference is not statistically different.
Mm-hmm.
It's not statistically significant in terms of the change. They have to drop the pH down to 7.2 or 7.4, something like that, by breaking the buffer to drop the pH that low to show there's an impact on the coral. Then the experimental data shows that, there's an impact at the pH that low. But a tank, home reef tank, will never go to that kind of.
Get there, will it?
Yeah, you never get that low unless something is seriously wrong.
Yeah.
So as long as people are testing their alkalinity from 7 to 11, they're in range, their pH is going nowhere. They will stay put. So the good thing about alkalinity is that we can measure alkalinity relatively accurate. So that's why I use alkalinity as the standard.
Yeah, so you're using that as your measure rather than...
as my measure. I test them every day. So I test...
What are you using for that? For
Salifert. Yep, Salifert. Because the Red Sea test kit is pretty hard for me to see the color change, especially when it is pretty dilute, when your alkalinity is relatively low. Salifert test kit, the color change actually quite dramatic. I get used to it. That's why I like it. And I do not use Hanna checker because that in a scientific field, the colorimetric testing, which is what Hanna checker does, for alkalinity, the data is not acceptable for publication. At least back then. I don't know right now. Back then is that if you're using the colorimetric testing method to test alkalinity for seawater, that data is not acceptable for publication because that the error, the range.
The range, yeah.
So the right now that Hanna, I've seen Hanna has improved a lot. So it's perfect for people to use, but I still find out that the Salifert is much easier to use for me because I use it at least 5 tests a day. So 3 system plus 2 calcium reactor. I do test the calcium reactor output to see that if they're working properly. 5 alkalinity tests minimum a day. So over all the year, actually one time a friend came over with his Hanna. So we do a little racing, so to see who can get the alkalinity number first.
Tests.
Yep.
Right.
So I got my alkalinity data already when he's still wiping his cuvette. So when you get used to it, you can do it really simple and easy.
Yeah, quick, simple, and the Salifert test really. So is there anything else you do then? You're doing calcium reactors?
Actually, sometimes I have to supplement a little bit of calcium and carbonate into this system. Yeah, sometimes that the calcium reactor, cannot keep up because the calcium reactor already at its max is doing as good as it can to meet the 5 to 6 DKH a day kind of a consumption. Sometimes the alkalinity gets low because the calcium reactor, the feed pump may be slowed down, maybe clog a little bit, and the CO2 may run out, that kind of thing. So I always...
do you mix your own like sodium carbonate, or do you buy proprietary stuff? Or?
No, when I'm tired, I use a ESV because I know the ESV, the product, the quality is pretty good. So when I'm really tired, I just pour some ESV in there. So when I'm regularly, when I dose, it's just soda ash.
Oh, right.
So I buy, I bought them from Amazon. They're dirt cheap, the soda ash. And also this guy. That's the calcium chloride.
Calcium chloride.
Yeah, and it's food grade calcium chloride. Right. So and they're very cheap. On Amazon in
your
US.
Your desk is like Doctor Who's TARDIS. Do you know that? It's just.
He has everything in the world is on Dong's desk.
On this desk has a lot of magical stuff happening, like a brush. That brush is I used to clean LED fan. Actually, try this. This is very good. Those are the automotive for brushing your cars.
Detailing brushes, yeah.
Yeah, detailing brush. The bristle is really hard. And
it looks like
it's
my daughter's
really...
blush brush.
Oh, that is too soft.
Oh.
I stole my daughter's the brush once.
Oh,
It doesn't work well.
I'll need to edit.
I was going to say, take that out.
So this is the car detailing brush, and then it's very good to reach into the fan or the LED and brush them out. And actually, that's quite important thing to clean your fan of the LED frequently. Otherwise, that your LED's life expectancy actually will drop significantly. Yeah. So I have a lot of gizmo on my table.
It's amazing sitting here talking to you. Normally, when I finish a YouTube video and I'm diving into kind of chemistry and reefing, I normally come away slightly depressed because I'm doing everything wrong or I should be trying that. But the way Dong is talking, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah. And also that there's a many way you can do it. It doesn't have to be limited to one way or the other. The one thing I will not use, actually, so I'm going to piss off some people. I drink some water first. Yeah, actually, I have water. Yeah, I have water on my magical table too.
Yeah, automatic refills.
Okay. Well, guess what? Probably I should get one of that.
That'd be good.
One thing I won't use is the all-for reef.
Okay.
Yep. There's several reasons for that. Yeah, the calcium formate.
Calcium formate. Yeah.
First of all, the consumption of calcium and alkalinity is never 1-to-1. So when you're dosing, any reef tank should always consume more alkalinity than calcium. So the reason for that is that the calcium is for building skeleton, but your alkalinity, aka the bicarbonate, is both used by photosynthesis organisms like algae, the symbiosis algae, bacteria, as a carbon source in place of carbon dioxide. Because at the ocean pH, all the carbon dioxide, most of them, 99.99% of them is in bicarbonate form. So photosynthesis require carbon dioxide. So the marine organism, since they don't have sufficient amount of carbon dioxide to utilize due to the pH, but the larger amount of bicarbonate, they will use that as the carbon source. They basically at the skin, there will be enzyme that convert the bicarbonate into carbon dioxide and then utilize that as for photosynthesis. So the calcium only mostly just for building skeleton, but your bicarbonate is both for building skeleton and as a carbon source. So coral, algae, bacterial combined together in your reef tank, there are more bicarbonate being consumed than calcium being consumed. If you use a 1-to-1, a so-called self-balance additive, you end up with the creeping up the calcium, and then you eventually
readjust it.
Yeah, you have to do water change, or you have to stop the dosing, only dosing by like the alkalinity to wait for the calcium to drop. So 1-to-1 ratio of this self-contained 1-to-1 ratio dosage is not ideal at all. That's one thing. Second thing is that the calcium formate, in order to generate the alkalinity in the salt water, it basically requires certain bacteria to metabolize to eat that formate and then convert them into carbon dioxide. So it's like bubbling carbon dioxide inside your tank. That is how it works. And it also depends on how much of those bacteria in your system. And people frequently find out is that when you're doing calcium formate, your alkalinity is not instantaneously reach the desired level. It creep up.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Some people actually take up to 1 day to reach the desired level. And one example is that one guy called me up and said, "Oh my God, his alkalinity keep climbing up." Then he didn't do anything. The next day, the alkalinity come from 7 to 9, and they keep climbing, but he was not dosing. I said, "What did you add to it?" Oh, he said he add all for reef, the calcium formate, he keep adding until the alkalinity reach his desired level.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh,
and then the bacteria
are
still converting it all,
Yeah, still converting them. So his alkalinity actually shooting up to 12 by the end of the second day. And he was panicking. I said, okay, that's normal for this reagent. So just do some water change and dilute it out. And now the problem is that because the bacterial activity to convert the formate into carbon dioxide, it also consumes large amount of oxygen. So if you dose a lot of calcium formate in your tank, and you just like carbon dosing, when you overdose, overdoing carbon dosing, your oxygen level in your tank actually drop. There's one case that one guy was accidentally dosed a lot of this calcium formate in there. He ended up crashing the tank. The fish suffocated to death. It's pretty dangerous thing. Yeah. So that is another drawback for the calcium formate. There's another drawback over there is that in saltwater environment, certain bacteria will convert formate into formaldehyde.
Ooh, not good.
Oh, that is deadly. I can tell that.
Don't want that.
Oh, yeah. So, no, I won't use or recommend use of a calcium formate at all. So, that is...
The people I've spoken to over on, because we run a Discord server and there's some just amazing people on there. Most of the people that jump onto the use of all for reef is because it's a small system majority of people.
Yeah,
very lightly stocked. Yeah. Not a lot of corals. Some people, very few corals to begin with. And it seems that they continue with it for a certain amount of time and then everything either goes wrong or something drops significantly. They then have to start dosing manually anyway. Then all for reef then becomes no point. It becomes pointless because it's not doing what it's supposed to.
Yeah, because the appeal to it really is just one dose.
That's it.
To do everything. Yeah.
I think it only suits very certain situations.
Yeah. Probably works fine with an empty tank with no life in it.
Correct. I'm going to test that.
And also there is a carbon dosing. That's the hopper. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just being sarcastic, saying that it just belongs in the bin.
Are you not a fan, Melinda?
Oh God, no! I've been very, very sarcastic about Alpha Reef since that stream a few weeks ago with somebody telling us that that's the only way to reef, and I was like, no. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, I won't touch it at all. So, and there's another all-in-one dosing thing is calcium acetate. So that is marketed by Polyps Lab as all. The acetate has a similar effect. Also, it's a carbon dosing. So basically, bacteria consume the acetate and produce carbon dioxide. The acetate has one drawback is that the solubility of calcium acetate seems lower. That's one thing. But the good thing is that the calcium acetate does not transform into formaldehyde.
Well,
one more carbon. Yeah. At least that part is good.
That is good.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was a thing.
Never heard of that.
No, crazy.
Lab. No, I don't know.
John, going back to mixing your own supplements and things, do you do any of the trace dosing? Do you mix your own there? Do you use a brand?
Actually,
like manganese, fluoride, other than your tap water. Like if you have to top up, are you using?
Actually, this is a very good question. Is that I haven't been dosing trace element until just recently, because that I use tap water. And then our tap water is special. Don't try it anywhere else. So because the water generates from the tank and then you pass, it's drinkable. It's very safe. And also you contain the essential elements. Seriously, I look at the water report. Look at all the trace elements. Basically, it has the iron and manganese actually in relatively high level, and fluoride. And several other pieces of the metal, trace metal that normally people dose. Especially it has I double check. We have 1.1 ppm of fluoride. So I double checked yesterday. I thought it was 2 because it used to be 2, or like 1.9 to 2. Right now it's 1.1 ppm of fluoride, which is very nicely
nice level.
Nice level. And even at 2 is perfectly fine for the fluoride. So and also it has pretty good level of manganese and iron. And also you have a very trace amount of copper in it, and that helps. The copper level is extremely low, but it is a helpful level.
It's there. Yep.
Yeah, it's there. So
I think we should just basically bottle up your tap water and sell it as a trace.
I think Dong lives in Oz. Honestly,
So I do offer people that because I have outside the gardening hose, and if they want to bring the bucket to collect those water and bring it home, feel free.
Oh, you heard it here first, people.
Right, yeah.
And I also give away my
hose.
Oh yeah,
I got 8,000 meters long.
Oh, you can teleport them. Beam it up, Scotty, to beam the water. So I also give away my salt water because I do a lot of water change to people who running nano tanks. So so it's easy to come here with 2 5-gallon bucket and get some of my tank water. So they do that water, use that water to grow their coral. And actually, those water actually fix somebody else's problem too. More than one occasion. Or when they have a mystery issue in the tank, they come over, take a lot of my water, and just do a large water change, and the issue go away. So right now that I actually have a schedule to see that, if you want the free water, put on the schedule because I cannot suddenly lose 100 gallons a day, right? So it's like 15, 20 gallons a day. That's acceptable. So today's quota is all taken. So wait for tomorrow.
Wow.
That also forced myself to do water change.
Is that free of charge, Dong, or is that?
No, free. It's free.
Good man.
Yeah, because that the thing about this way that I'm going to change the water anyway.
Yep.
The water either go down wasted or become can help somebody else. Why not? And since I do water change so frequently, so the water quality is very good. Especially that those phytoplankton, then it helps. The water has phytoplankton in it every day.
Which species of phyto is it your... See, I'm getting into this now. So
I knew when you went phyto, you'd be like, oh, hello. I'm in.
I grow nano. That's the only thing, because the easiest way to go.
Yeah.
Now the thing is that I read so many of different opinions about different species of nano, different species of phyto. When you look at the scientific study, are the difference that's significant from nano for the isocrisis, whatever? Are those other harder to grow phytoplankton? Is that much more beneficial to the coral? I don't see that. The thing is that the nano is good enough. So it's my philosophy for a hobby of even growing coral as a farmer, a coral farmer, everything is good enough. It's good enough because we know so little about things. For example, like let's say trace element should be good enough. The reason for that is that there's I did a lot of research on trace element. One thing is very obvious from publication is that different species of coral, they consume different amount of trace element. It's dramatically different. Even among the same species, and they will be different. So it's just Acropora, different Acropora.
Going back to my question, what trace elements are you dosing? Like, are you mixing your own, or are you using a different brand? Or
right now, actually, on just trying out things. So because that without dosing trace element, I'm doing well to be for so long. But then
you've already got it in your water.
Yeah. So but I want to do the icing on the cake. So I tried this out. Is from the Captive 8. They call the Isolate MT. It's a little bottle.
Yep.
So this trace element, actually, the reason I choose this one, well, I'm not sponsored, so this is just I pick out all these supplements. I picked this one. There's a reason. I'll be right back. I'm going to bring back something.
Acorn.
Oh, not acorn.
I'm a little bit upset it's not on your desk, if I'm honest.
Yeah, go ahead, acorn.
Yeah, acorn, yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay. Now, okay. Holding in my hand is 2023, published in 2023, is a biological review article, Trace Metal Economy of the Coral Holobiome, which is a very good paper, summarized several hundred research papers about regarding trace metal, what they do to the coral, and up to the enzyme pathway. And then there's telling you that what trace metal is doing, what enzyme pathway, either corals, symbiosis algae, bacterial, fungi, virus, and whatever things in there. It's a very good review paper. Okay, so with all the trace element that has scientifically proven has a pathway to benefit coral, bacterial, algae, even virus and fungi, is all listed in here. And out of this, there's approximately 8 of them that matters. If I counted correctly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 of them. 9 of them is really matter. The rest of them is classified as an environmental pollutant, which demonstrated like chromium. Dosing chromium is insane because you are basically poisoning the animal in your tank. So first of all, mimicking seawater for the trace element profile, unfortunately, bullshit. That's what I can. Sorry about my language.
No,
it gets worse.
Okay, I know
That's
you guys
tame.
need more tolerance of that.
Yes.
So basically, when a trace element exists in the salt water, it's not there to benefit something. It's there because it's part of the earth, part of the ecosystem. The chromium is there because it's part of the ocean. The chromium leak into the ocean. So it's not every trace element has some biological function or actually benefit any life form that we keep. Some of them actually is classified as a pollution, toxin, that kind of thing. So we do not have to, and we should not mimic the ocean in terms of trace element profile. Just like assuming this, I tell people this joke. For example, if I get abducted by alien, okay, and they lock me into a simulated house, and they throw me a brick. Then I look at the brick and say, what the heck? Why do I need the brick? The alien said, I found this trace element in your habitat. Outside your yard. So you must benefit you. Okay, here's the brick. Okay. That is the similar thing. How if we try to mimic the ocean to keep our reef tank, that is one gigantic misconception. So another thing is that many of the trace elements exist in such a minuscule level, but they serve an important biological function. For example, like 30% of the biological pathway is associated with these metals. It's important. But when their level exceeds to a certain level, it becomes toxic, like copper. So if you have a tiny amount of copper, it's really critical. But the copper can be toxic tremendously toxic when the level rise up. And that the toxicity level is really low. It's very easy for us to overdose anything to let them reach the toxicity level. And ICP test depend on where you do it. And in general, well, take it as a grain of salt. That's how I look at it. Unless I just like Chris Mackney, you know that he has a coral farm in Florida. And then he used Reef Lab, also located like
very close.
Very close.
Yeah.
And now, and when he used the Reef Lab to do ICP, that data probably is a lot more reliable than you put something in a plastic bottle, and then the plastic has a tendency to absorb metal. Ship it for 7 days, rolling around in an air cargo ship, and then go there. Probably that whatever trace element profile in that plastic bottle is no longer represent what's in your tank. And plus that how they handle ICP, this is a big mystery to me, because I know that in order to get a reasonable, accurate ICP test in US, and you're looking at $800 to $1,200 per sample to get a reasonable ICP test. I do not understand how you can get the same result, reasonably accurate result, with like in $20 list, because you have to look at what the wholesale price of ICP test kit, and plus the shipping, and plus all this kind of thing. You're basically spending $20 to $25 to do a ICP test for all these elements. I don't know how they do it. I don't know.
Quite a few people now have sent away 2 samples, same tank, same time, to the same company, and got completely different results.
Absolutely, just like Acro Garden. Yeah, Acro Garden actually on one of the live stream maybe years ago, and he actually mislabeled the 2 vial, but the 2 vial had the same water, just different label. They come back, the data is different. So if the ICP OES can be done at such a inexpensive way, maybe all the university, all the company should use them for ICP. Why spending $800 to $1,200 for if you get the $20? But of course, if I recommend that, and somebody would throw bricks on me, here's you and your habitat, aliens. So that is the thing, is that when you don't have accurate measurement to guide you to as a guidance to do something, you are basically running into a brick wall and hit yourself with a brick. That kind of thing. Yeah. For example, that if you want to bake a cake,
and then put a brick on your decks, then
there's one thrown at me earlier.
So, for example, that if you want to make a cake and you call for like 10 grams of sugar, and the only measurement you have is a 5-gallon bucket. So, how accurate you can measure out that? Let's say 1 cup of sugar, let's say, and then the only measurement you have is a 5-gallon bucket. That 5-gallon bucket is your ICP, and you try to use that 5-gallon bucket to measure 1 cup of material, your trace element. What kind of result can you get?
Issue.
The resolution issue, and also many of the elements, the peaks on the instrument are overlapping. How well resolved are them? And that is that's a lot, many questions. So that is why when we do not have the tool to relatively accurately to guide dosing trace element, it's really risky to do that. Because that
nuts the way we're in this hobby, where somebody sends away an ICP, and like you've just described, it can take 14 days to turn around and get tested. But this person's at home with tiny little bottles of different things, just going drip, 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 drip. Nothing like what it was the day you took the sample.
Exactly.
Keep it.
Oh, by the way, the bacterial. So actually, that's another thing about this kind of the delay. What can cause is that when you collect a sample of your seawater or your tank water, you actually have so many microbials, living things inside that. If you look underneath the microscope, seawater probably is one of the dirtiest water on face of Earth, because it contains so many microbials, bacterial, virus, whatever in there. So bacterial actually is they absorb trace elements significantly. So actually lots of trace elements actually go into the bacteria. So when you collect that little sample there, and there's so many living bacteria in there, that means that those trace elements inside the bacteria are not available to the coral. in the water, it's not in the column, right? So during the shipment, let's say if it ship for 5 days, those bacteria die. When they die, what happened? They bust open. And now all the trace element into those bacteria will be present in that water sample. So that means that after all the traveling, and that sample in that vial is nowhere representing what's in your tank. Because all the if you just do a Google search, you see how much living bacteria in established seawater, like natural seawater, and our reef tank is tremendous, in billions of them, those bacteria. So think about it, when they all die and lice open the cell and then release all the gunk, all the things into the water sample, and that water sample is nowhere near to represent what's in your tank.
I feel quite sorry for you, Dong. It must be insane living with your intelligence level in your brain. How frustrating it must be to watch how much bullshit there is and how messed up everything is, because you're like, nope, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Yeah. And just like, back to the question is that this little bottle only costs about like $15. And it contains I don't think it's a coincidence, okay? Because this is a review paper. Those information actually has been around for a long time. So, but right now I just look.
Are in that bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
exactly. And plus the iodine.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm trying this out. So the thing is that because it scientifically makes sense. So I just starting it. So maybe next time when I get on your guys in June, get on that Reefers network, and then I will have some answer about how good these things are.
So how are you going to test your levels though if you're not?
Oh no, I just look at the coral.
Right.
You see the growth rate, the color, especially color, because that the trace element.
I was hoping you're just going to drag an ICP machine off your desk, then just go. I've built my own.
But even I have an ICP on my desk, I will not be able to get the accurate number to begin with, because that's a limitation of the technology. And if I have an ICP mass spec, I probably get a little bit for more accuracy for a certain level, but that is at least $500,000 investment.
The mass spec basically burns the samples, doesn't it? And he looks at the peaks.
The mass spec actually even more labor intensive to operate, because you have to like internal standard, all that kind of thing. And also mass spec is really finicky machine. Yeah. And if you the lots of preparation work need to be done before you shoot the sample in. And
my question would be, and you were going back to the trace elements, does it matter in the sample whether they're inside a bacteria or in the actual water itself? When it's atomized and put into the machine, it's burnt, and they look at the peaks, the different colorimetric peaks, don't they? So would it matter where the trace element is?
Oh no, it doesn't matter then, because the burning is. So that is another reason that you're absolutely correct. When you burn it that way, that's even more different from what's in the tank.
Yeah. Okay.
Even the bacteria are still alive. They're even worse. That case. So basically, you're looking at the total, all the trace element when you burn everything. Yeah. So then, but your coral will expose to the dissolved trace element, and of course, there's an intake of trace element multiple way. One way is by dissolving, or by those gradient absorption, or by active transport. Also by ingesting the bacteria by coral. Yeah. But now the thing is that how much. So there's no way to know how much those trace elements actually in the water, but I mean by burning the sample, how much inside the bacteria, and how available for those trace elements to certain coral. And each coral are different. Then where does that standard coming from? For example, you need certain ppm of certain trace vanadium, let's say. Then where does standard come from? Because that each coral may or may not even take that vanadium to begin with, and even they take vanadium, different species take differently.
Yeah, differently. Yeah.
Where do you draw the line?
Yeah, it's very
those is it's totally, actually, even with the review article, those are still pretty unknown. So
technically, we should be able to make our tank water better than the ocean, because we can exclude those things which they are saying.
For matter of fact, yes.
Right.
And that means that our water can be better because that it can be much less environmental pollutant inside. So less poison, less toxic.
Yeah.
So that's why that those trace element is something like, first of all, is icing on the cake, basically. So another thing is that overdosing or good enough is the way I try to say, good enough. So this is good enough. Even though with all the trace element mixed together in one shot, in one solution, by the way, it can be done chemically. You don't need 8 or 9 or 20
bottles.
solvent. That's totally insane. I think the reason you have all these kind of bottles, and plus you use ICP to guiding the dose of this bottle, pure marketing, economic, money grabbing.
Oh, I can't believe you said that.
Does that tiny bottle have cations and anions both all mixed together?
Yeah. And also that in the bottle, it tells you clearly, all the ingredients labeled clearly what they are.
Yeah, I looked at it yesterday, actually. But I don't know if we can get that in the UK, Ron, because I tried to find a place to buy some.
So in that case, I have another hypothesis, is that just based on my humble opinion, if you just take care of the manganese and iron, or even just take care of iron, probably is good enough.
Yeah.
Because that there's in a synthetic sea salt, and they already contain some critical element is already in there, and iron, it turned out to be really the most important thing. So if you only dose one trace element, just dose the iron. Iron. That's pretty much the most important thing. Manganese, yes, I think is really icing on the cake.
I mean, they're all
iron
traces that are used in photosynthesis, really, aren't they?
Not only photosynthesis is a major thing, major pathway for iron, and they also do a little bit of other stuff too. So it's
kind of makes sense.
And a lot of them actually are very important for bacteria. So that's part of trace element.
Have you ever done an acrobiologics test?
No, I never do that. I never do it. Because the thing is that it is a good thing, the acrobiologic and do this kind of thing. But on the other hand, it's not yet to be able to provide an actionable item. So we should support the effort.
Yeah.
But another thing is that even though,
if you find out you've got something you don't want, there's nothing you can do about it anyway. Is that
nothing? And also another thing is that what is your standard?
Right.
What is the goal? They give you a profile, and then how do you interpret this profile? Is there anything more, anything less, or anything with better, anything worse? There's no standard there.
So is he measured against the pool of hobbyist tanks? Is that the idea of the standard? Is that where it comes from? I mean, I don't know. We don't. I don't know. Here, so we've got no idea.
I don't know, because that there's a what is that there even a tank looks beautiful. It doesn't mean that it's optimal. First of all, the optimal doesn't exist. The optimum level of environment for a coral to grow does not exist, because different coral have different requirements. Even the flow and light cannot be universally fit. Let alone a biomic.
So you need a monocultural tank then of just one coral species.
Oh, that's a different story. Seriously, if there's a monoculture, there's only one species of coral, or only one gigantic coral in that tank, yes, theoretically you can tune against to do that. But right now, just for the trace element requirement, one paper I found that is closely studied this thing for the difference between coral species versus trace element requirement. They only study 4 different coral. 4.
Yeah.
And those 4, besides the Acropora and also one of the Phytoplankton you commonly seen in our hobby, the other two is not common. It's not in a hobby. At least I don't think so.
Right.
So,
yeah.
For example, that our green slimer, that's the oldest piece of aquaculture coral that people, that also the easiest acro. The green slimer is not showing up on any study. So even I want to do a monoculture green slimer only tank, I have no.
Yeah, there's no data for it. Yeah.
Yeah, no data to go for that. Not only the trace element data, no standard, the whole biomic requirement, no standard. Even the I don't know what's the preferred salinity, or what's the preferred temperature for that green slimer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just for such a coral that has been in a hobby for such a long time, we know so little about them. Let alone start dosing gazillions of bottles and try to optimize the set. In an ideal situation, theoretically, the idea is not. It's kind of right? If you be able to figure out what is needed, but the problem is that it's really jumping the gun 2,000 miles ahead.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from.
Yeah,
and I did the same with the trace elements. A lot of them just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
There's no literature to support dosing them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also that I found out using AI to get information is absolutely horrible.
It's dog
AI.
It's absolute.
Oh my
shit.
God, that is absolutely. For example, I asked
serious stuff.
Yeah, I asked AI. Said, what is the what is vanadium do? He gave me a list of saying. I click on everything. It's all from people who's selling the thing. It's not even coming from any scientific literature.
Yes.
Everything is from a vendor.
Says, buy it.
Yeah. Or then to pull out something from the website, say, oh, this element is supposed to increase a certain color or important for antioxidant. Where's the scientific paper?
Yeah, well, that was my gripe. It's not backed up enough for me.
Yeah. And also just like a refuel ratio. So, for example, if you said a ratio 10-1 is good and 100-1 is good, 500-1 is good, it only means there's no ratio.
Yeah.
There is no relationship. So this is the thing is that just like this hobby filled with this pseudoscience. So it sounds scientific, but at the background, there's no actual evidence.
I often wondered with all think the amount of data that all the different ICP companies like Triton, Elements, ATLI, they must have a massive set of data. So I often wonder why they don't publish something on that.
Because there's very difficult to find any correlation.
Well, I thought probably because it fall at the first hurdle when I go with the data you've got is not sufficient.
Yeah, it's bollocks, therefore.
Yeah, basically.
People stop spending their money.
Yeah, exactly.
And also that, those database will be very biased.
Yeah.
Because think about it, most of the hobbyists, they don't do ICP. There are tons of aquarium, beautiful aquarium. They don't even hear about ICP, let alone doing it. And so the people who do that is just a small set of reefers who are doing that. And then among those reefers, there's a far in between from beautiful tank versus a very crappy one, failing one. And also another problem is that just like feeding AI information, the AI is as good as the data you feed it to. Many people do ICP when they have a trouble.
Yeah.
When they cannot solve the problem, and then the fish store or the whatever expert maintenance guy will say, do ICP test because we cannot find any. Just so mind-boggling, don't know what's going on. Then the last resource to spend the money to do the ICP test. Then the test, you're testing the data, which is pretty bad. And also that the person who's saying the ICP test normally won't write, say, oh, my tank is a piece of crap right now, so I send an ICP test.
Yeah.
Right. So you never know what exactly those data are representing for. So that this is And also even that, from a scientific paper, scientific research, showing that different coral, the requirement is so different. So where do you find the standard? So that's all go down to the thing is like anything is good enough, it's good enough. Give it a shot. It's an art.
Yeah.
It's a
I mean,
hobby.
I think they'd have a kind of universal reference solution, wouldn't you, for all ICP machines that they all use?
I think the universal reference maybe just seawater standard.
Or something.
Yeah, the saltwater standard, what they contain. But now, when we talk about the saltwater standard,
where'd they get that from, though?
Yeah, exactly. It's an average. Well, whatever online is an average for all this location. So even for example, that the parameter in Florida Reef versus Australia Great Barrier Reef, there is a significant difference there. Yeah. One is Atlantic Ocean, one is the Pacific Ocean. Even the microbial environment is dramatically different. So then how can you draw down the conclusion, the standard? When there's no standard, you have no standard, you have no equipment accurate enough to tell you this thing. You have very little scientific knowledge about this thing. And then you used all this unknown to guide you to those trace elements. It's very risky thing. I have seen so many those reef tank that people are not even get online. They just hire maybe a company to maintain their tank, let alone doing ICP tests. There's plenty of beautiful reef tank. Coral are thriving. They never think about the trace element. They don't even know what the trace element is. The many hobbyists is not even on the internet and check on the Facebook or Instagram all the time. No, they don't. Plenty of this. And there's actually the plenty of success story behind it. And for example, that many people, well, if you have a SPS dominant tank, then your trace element requirement will be dramatically different than LPS dominated tank versus a soft coral or zoensis tank.
Yeah.
So but one universal thing is that do your water change, do your common practice, look at the big three: calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium, and look at your salinity. That's the important thing. Look at your temperature, and most likely you will have a beautiful tank.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It blows my mind, the amount of people that reach out to me and they go, right, you're running a coral farm. It's very small. What is it you do? What's your secret? And I talk them through what it is I do, and I make all my DIY big three, things like that. Thank you to Rob. And they all cannot believe how cheap and simply I'm doing it. But you know what the craziest thing is? They see my beautiful corals. They compliment me on my corals. I tell them what I do to grow them, and they still go out and spend hundreds of pounds on bottles and different things because it's on Instagram and it's getting forced in your face and people just can't. So they ask me, I tell them, and they totally ignore me.
Same thing here. For example, that the catalytic activated carbon suddenly become trendy.
Yes.
Because that the god of the multiple bottles said, the catalytic activated carbon does not deplete your trace element. The god says so. Then everybody started spending money on the catalytic activated carbon.
Heck.
So the people ask me this question, and then I ask them, do you really know what exactly is catalytic activated carbon? Yes. You basically look at the definition. It's not that much different. And the true catalytic activated carbon is so expensive you cannot even afford it. That's the activated carbon actually can induce chemical reaction to happen. And
I can't find it here. I can't get it.
Yeah, and some of the so-called, actually I will send a reference about this is the brand of catalytic activated carbon. You should get spoken by the god of multiple bottles. So this is the one. I look at
it.
I love that.
Oh my
God. I'm writing that down.
So this so-called catalytic activated carbon actually is not a real catalytic activated carbon. It turns out that brand of carbon is just like a fake catalytic activated carbon. It's not truly. They just call it that way and make it a higher price. Wow. And then talk about this activated carbon does not take out trace element. I don't know what planet this thing come from. So activated carbon, you will indiscriminately whip up whatever they encounter, especially in saltwater environment. Reef tank, there's so many organic molecules there. What the organic molecule good at? They grab the bond to the metal and complex to it. Yeah. And get wiped out by activated carbon, get attracted, take in. So that's something really drive me crazy sometimes. And then when people, have you think about this? Have you think about that? I look at it, snake oil. Yeah. So there's even one manufacturer I met, an LED manufacturer overseas. I asked them, what's your strategy? They said, our strategy is to price our equipment very expensive. So people will perceive it's a high end. Mm. Then people will buy it. Yeah. And then with the Instagram or Facebook fan base will start to fanning the fan, love it. So just make it expensive and pretend to be high end. That is how they're saying. Basically, many of the stuff in this hobby just like that. Put a high price tag on it, assuming it's good. Of course, there's no any evidence to back it up. It's better than a $50, $60 J-ball pump. So then, and you want to see another prop? I'll be right back.
Melinda, do you want to just
die in a corner?
Acorn?
Honestly, under my blanket.
I just grabbed this out of my magical bottle. I grabbed this out of my magical bottle.
Ooh, I've got loads of them.
Oh, yeah. It's a good thing. So a friend of mine bought this thing at retail price, and he never used it because it's a backup pump, and he got out of the hobby. He wanted me to sell it.
Oh, so it wasn't Lee. Mum's cupboard.
That thing retail at $1,800 and perform the same job. Yep.
As my $20 job
as.
I'm just waiting for him to slaughter me on something, so it's my turn soon. Got to be.
Perform the same job as this $75 thing. And both if you said this $70 thing is not reliable, I have been running this for 10 years. Very reliable.
I've been running one for 12.
It's not very sexy, though, is it?
So the thing is that so far I still have this guy. People has any reasonable thinking skill. You have to justify, seriously. How to justify.
Your turn, Rob.
Yeah.
So this is really difficult.
Do you have reasonable thinking skills, Rob?
Obviously not.
But on the other hand, if you really want Arby's, the power head, that nobody can do the job, you pay the price for it. That's reasonable. For example, you like Acro Garden, and he has this expensive $3,000-$4,000 weight maker from Arby's.
Same company, Abyss.
Yeah, because that he's doing a job that cannot be replaced by an inexpensive product. Yeah. That makes absolutely sense.
There you go, Rob.
That I can $1,800 can be replaced by less than $100 product as reliable.
Can it?
I don't get it.
Seriously. So Rob has one of those great big Abyss cannons in his tank at home.
I do. And also those return pumps as well.
You do.
So the thing is that if you need that piece of equipment that nobody actually be able to provide you the same performance that you require.
I take mine down to the station when I go to work, and I just shout out to everyone, I've got an Abyss pump. Works.
Well, yeah, the Abyss pump is a good pump. It's reliable. It's I need to put on the
At
charger
least it's not a
here.
red dragon.
Oh my God!
The biggest lie Rob said there was he went to work.
I know. Thanks for picking up.
Yeah, sorry, you're not having that.
Even I felt a flush of liar through me there.
And actually, there's another thing. I don't know if Aquamatic still exists.
They do.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they had a major
Clinging
problem
on by
here
the
in UK,
fingernails.
but, yeah.
So, I look at this several years ago. You cannot find them in US anymore. I look at their catalog and look at the one of the Waymaker. It looks awfully familiar.
Yes.
Look, it's a J-Ball.
Yes.
It's a previous generation of J-Ball.
Yeah, just rebrand it.
But then the price tag come with it is kind of so. This is it's difficult to understand, but definitely people will draw to that because it has this halo of luxury item. Just like you have a Rolex and versus Casio. Yeah. But the Rolex serve a different function though. You have a Rolex, you go to a party and people and then you have a red dragon at home and versus
much more likely to be mugged.
Here we go, red dragon chat.
Yeah, red dragon. Jeez.
So I know you've just started a podcast again with Keith Burklehammer, Reef Bum. I'm wondering if you should just cancel that and come and join us, and we'll do a new show called Reefing Bullshit.
Yeah.
I have time.
I think the world is ready for it, Dom.
Both.
Let's do it.
Kong.
Let us do it.
You could just grab a product from your desk and just go, shit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm more interested in what Melinda just said.
After I said that, I went, what?
Oh, love it.
So there's a lot of saying that, of course that we don't want to be the most hated by the live stream by vendors.
No, but I mean, I don't really care.
That goes to Rebuilder, but
listen, that is 2.5 hours. I feel like we've not even scratched the surface of what we could talk about. But
exactly.
I'm conscious of your time, but I really want to do this again.
Oh, absolutely.
This is hot too.
Yeah, this has
Even
been
after slaughtering me, I want to do this again. Gonna go out with my 100 little bottles.
Boyfriend.
Yeah, gone on 100 bottles.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely amazing, Dong. Thank you so much. What I'll do is I'll stop recording and then we can all do our goodbyes. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for watching. Dong will be back at some point. Bye.
Thank you, Dong.
Bye.